Good afternoon, Mrs. Depre.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. Welcome to our e-conference.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, so session will begin at 3:15, sir. We have a break of
I'm
5 minutes.
yeah, I'm muting
Uh,
now.
you can
Okay.
please mute. We'll hand over the screen to you at 3:15. We'll start with the introduction first. Deepika, we can start with the introduction now.
All right. Hello, Mr. Sudeep. I'll just begin with introducing the speaker's profile to everyone. The topic for our next session is importance of rural marketing, penetration in a go-to-market strategy. And our esteemed speaker for this session is Mr. Sudeep Ray, a management consultant. Mr. Ray has an overall experience of 40 plus years of sales and distribution management and training. He has facilitated and coached clients from various industries on soft skill and sales as training consultant and training manager. He has worked with companies like HUL, Godrej Foods, Sapurji Palonji, Balsara, Skol, Piramol, Haldiram, SBI, Britannia, Perfetti, and many more in different capacities, from TSI to regional manager or regional training manager, and currently works as freelancer trainer for sales and soft skills and consultant for business development for FMCG companies. Mr. Ray's exposure to managing projects and end-to-end solutions, from training need analysis to competency mapping to creating customized training solutions and managing execution of the solutions across locations. He has certifications in training to train from HUL and also from the trainers by Dell
Carnegie
Training. Yeah, I'm really sorry. Along with the high effective presentation by Dale. So now I'd request Mr. Sudeep Ray to commence the session.
Good afternoon, everybody. I haven't heard the response. Everybody is muted, I believe. Can you hear me all? Hello.
So
Yes,
you are audible, sir.
Okay. Today, you will be very tired. It's because you are all hearing the presentations from 10:30 in the morning. So I will not make presentations, but I will tell you a few stories and my experiences. My journey really started with few stints of 2 years with first with a battery company, that's a Toshiba battery after graduation, and then I joined Hindustan Lever. At that point of time, it was not known as HUL, but it was known as HLL, Hindustan Lever Limited. And we were called salesmen, not sales representative or TSIs or anything. And we were proud of that. And then 79, when I joined, I was first 5 years in Hindustan Lever in foods, and then another 10 years with soaps and detergents, which we used to call Medline One. Then I've shifted to many companies. I have been with Godrej Foods. I've been with Balsara. I've been in training at 53. At the age of 53, I made a paradigm shift to training. I was with Airtel, with this telecom, and I was with their learning department, that is Centum Learning Limited. Then I shifted to FMCG again. It is Perfetti Van Mill. I was in Delhi and again in training. Then sometimes in 2012, I've come back, started my own training and consultancy, and I'm continuing with that. But I must say, whatever I have learned from Hindustan Lever, I try to implement everywhere. And wherever I go, it's to my surprise, when we go to the rural, it is everywhere, whether it is Perfetti, whether it is telecom market, that is Airtel, whether it is Balsara, everybody is following the spoke and hub method. Apart from the normal GT distributions, MT distributions, everybody is, even Perfetti is following the spoke and hub method, that is super stockist and the distributors in the rural markets. Without the rural markets, the aspirations of the rural markets is growing these days. The government spending in rural markets in these days are increasing. So it makes sense. But Hindustan Lever has seen the potential in 1960s. At the time, Dalda was launched. Dalda was a brand name of Banaspati, which is a replacement of ghee. Ghee is a milk fat, whereas Banaspati is an edible fat. It is a vegetable oil fat. And it is known by Hindustan Lever's Banaspati was known as Dalda Banaspati. Long back in the mid-60s and 271, it was a rural Dalda van that was going in the markets and campaigning. They were that puris were made and sabzis were made, and it was distributed to the village folks to test dalda, and it became very popular. But as things becomes very popular, there are people who say against it. So people started saying dalda is not good for health and everything. So the rural marketing of dalda stopped in 1971, but it remained as popular as it is. But when people slowly learn that saturated fat is not good for health, they're slowly shifting to other white oils, etc. But the name Dalda becomes popular with the rural market penetrations. And at that point of time, when I joined Levers in 79, I found Dalda Banaspati to be everywhere, whether it is in village, remote village of some 5,000 or 20K populations, it was there. So Hindustan Lever understood it. Now, I have heard this thing. I was not there from my predecessors in Hindustan Lever. From 71, they started their van program. They have appointed few distributors at the nearest village. Say if it is Ranchi, they have appointed some people near Lohardaga, who are people from Bihar will understand Lohardaga, Gumla, Simdega. At that point of time, it was it was a subdivision and not a district. Today, it is a district. To appoint distributors over there, from there, Hindustan Lever's own van and company owned van and a company salesman, which is known as van salesman. There was town salesman, there were van salesmen, used to take the stocks from those distributors and go to the micro-level villages, distribute it for say 14 days, then come back again, take the stocks and again go for 14 days. So 14 days around, they used to stay at Dak Bungalow. And wherever they were distributing the products, it is not a dalda when it is van for all. So it carries soaps, it carries cosmetics, it carries food items also. So whenever it goes, after finishing that, the village was painted with wall painting and some activities, the BTL activities we call today's. Those days, those BTL activities were rural painting, the wall painting there was there, and what is the fair and festivals, they used to be present at fair and festivals, and they used to sell at MRP of the product and give some consumer offers to that with the margin that the retailers are enjoying. So that was the thing going on. So ultimately in 77, the company's own van stopped. They found it to be not to be very viable, and they started a program called IDC. IDC means indirect coverage. All the big towns, they have got distributors who are doing PJP, that is permanent journey plan. They have got certain beats and routes in the town they were covering. And they have got fixed dates for van programs, that is called indirect coverage, where 3-4 villages or 3-4 markets are attached together, and they were calling 20 calls a day, making calls and selling it. And it is a cash and carry business, no udhari. They were selling in cash. That was the system. Finally, company understood that there were markets which is left behind. All 20K population distributors, their towns used to have distributors of Hindustan Lever. And below 20K populations, how this is to be touched. So they have started IDC. And further below the towns, how they can do it. So if they have started a thing called, and I was a party to it because it was the then chairman, Dr. Ganguly's project. It is called Operations Hybrid. A third-party van, well painted and decorated, with a 16mm screen inside, and with a projector and all. They used to go, and a map has been drawn from the census. It is called Village Directory. At that time, the books were available. Today, there are, from the census, you can get the CDs. From the CDs, you get to know the village directory, where are the villages, how far it is from the distributor point, how will you make the itinerary of these village things, and how many villages will be covered, when these are hard days over there. They used to cover all the village, village outlets, 3-4 villages, some 10-15 outlets. At the same time, they used to demonstrate, like they used to wash clothes with wheel powder or wheel bar and show the villagers, or sunlight powder and show the villagers, and they were making consumer sales also. Soon they finish it. Our painters were going in there and they were painting the whale, there have been cemented whales, normal whales, and also the shops they were painting. Wall painting was on, and and in the evening they were announcing that in the evening we will show you the chitrahars. At that point of time, in the early 80s, the TV coverage or even the print media reach was not very strong in the villages. So people were TV coverage. There were no more so many channels were not available. So in the evening, lot of people used to gather. I have seen people around 80 years of old age. I've seen people 5, 6 years of age. So what we used to do is we used to show our advertisement like Lifebuoy, like Sunlight, like other products, Reen and all, Lux. And in between two advertisement, there were film songs. There were film songs from modern films. There were films from old films. There were from Bhakti films also, so that the older generations used to enjoy that. So that is the thing. It is called the pioneering van or Operation Hybrid. When the people were thinking of this pioneering van and Operation Hybrid, they started also thinking how to continue, because third party van is a costly affair and you cannot do that for the nth number of times and for indefinite period of time. At some point of time that they decided that the few markets which are potential will be given to the distributors who will carry on with the IDC markets, and the rest of the thing has to be covered somehow. So how it's to be done? So then the thing of called the thing what is called streamline product. Now I will share the screen and show you something. So there were indirect coverage. There was a direct coverage also. So there comes the one is called streamline. Streamline means then company has appointed in each district headquarter, they appointed one distributor who will stock the companies from the CNFA, the stocks will go there. And he appointed in the villages a stars outlet, which is a wholesale kind of outlets, who will be distributed with the stocks with some certain discounts. And since from the stars outlet, it goes to the other village outlets. So that was the thing which was followed by the indirect coverage, and to cover the continuity of our the indirect van coverage, which we used to do, we call Operation Hybrid. But with seeing that streamline, that the product when it is given, the stars outlets was reluctant to give it to the other retailers, small retailers, because he see when if he sells directly to that village consumers, he makes more profit. So that was not a very viable project for levers. So there they come, they continue with indirect coverage. Then come the hub and spoke method. So what they have decided this time, not a stars outlet. They were a big distributor who used to give it to the 20 or 24 village markets. They used to make a distributor and give them the stocks. And this distributor around 2, 3, 4, 5 kilometers range, they used to distribute the stocks like the town distributors are doing. So this is called hub and spoke method, which is still continuing. And then come the Project Shakti. Project Shakti is a project which I will now come into, and which is very important for everyone to understand how to tap the village potential and also do the CSR, corporate social responsibilities. These were the products that Project Shakti. Rural price consumers are price sensitive. Sachets and small packs of premium products, price doesn't exceed 5 per sachet. Lux at 5 rupees, Lifebuoy at 2 rupees, Surf Excel sachets at 150, Pond Talc small sachets 5 rupees, etc., etc. And these are the products that were selling at rupees 5, rupees 2, rupees 150. These are the products selected. It is a combination of 3 ways: door-to-door selling. It is called Shakti Amma. In the village, they used to appoint a person who is into this micro sales and who are into these groups who are making handicrafts and all. This Shakti Amma used to do door-to-door selling where they used to get 11% margin, and sitting from their home also 11% margin, and they were giving to the 3-4 retailers that is available in the village, and where they were getting 3% margin. The average sales were 10,000 to 15,000 and profit was around 1,000 per month. That was the theme. So why this has been started? This is the what used to be at the previous time, and this is the second this hub and spoke method, and this is the star sellers, what is streamlined, and now this is Project Shakti plans. Villages with a population about 2,000 to 3,000 are selected. Personnel from HUL approach to HAG, small groups. Selection of Shakti Amma. HUL vouchers for Shakti Ammas with banks from credit. So the banks used to give them credit. One Shakti entrepreneur is appointed in one village, and the village are about 2 kilometers apart from other villages. But other villages, when they are distributing, it is not far away, more than 2 kilometers. So he or she can distribute within 2 kilometers of his range, and rest he will sell in her own village and from his house, where she will make a display. The Shakti dealer places initial orders worth rupees 15,000, principal customer being HUL, the customer of HUL. The Shakti dealer organized the Shakti Day in the village, where they used to display the products and give free gifts, and they used to invite all the villagers there. So that was the method of marketing. The recruitment of a Shakti entrepreneur or Shakti Amma begins with executives of HUL. We used to identify them at the uncovered village. The representative company meets the panchayat, the village head, and identify a woman who they believe will be suitable for this Shakti Amma, and who are involved in this the project, where a group was doing some handicraft and selling at what is the self-help project. After training, she is asked to put up 20,000 as investment, which is used to be buy products for selling. The products are then sold door to door or through petty shops at home. On an average, a Shakti Amma makes 10% margin on the product she sells. And this is, I have already discussed the kind of products they were selling, because it should be a price between 5 to 1 rupees 550 paisa, because villagers cannot give more than that. Though I have seen, I must say, though I have seen, the villagers people have also got aspirations. When we launched Dove in the year 1994, we thought it will be, since it is priced at 35 rupees, 40 rupees, we thought it will be only for the city people. But we will be dazed to see, if you go to the van market, if you go to the rural market, you will find doves are there. That is, people is aspirant. Their aspirations are increasing. Project Shakti then was extended to West Bengal, Punjab and Rajasthan. Partnership with non-competitor companies to sell their products through the Shakti network. But there was challenges also. What were the challenges? It has low margins, difficulty in acquiring finance, transportation, and low disposable income dependence on monsoon. If you see the economy part, the sector, agricultural sector is giving 78%, manufacturing for 7.1%, service 5.8%, trade 4.4%, and others 4.3%. This is the village economy people are engaged with. Why this program? To take people aware, to increase the consumption, to also to increase the income of the village people, this Shakti Amma and others helping them, to increase behavior in awareness and living standard lifestyle and self-consciousness. It was soon felt that HUL sales and distribution system, which has protected it from competitors, would soon be replicated by its rivals, and to maintain its edge, the company has to increase its reach beyond the urban markets. carrying and forwarding agents. More than 70% of the population lived in village and made a big market for FMCG industries. Benefits, what is the benefit of this Shakti Amma to the people? Why they will do it? Earning about 7%, after 3% goes towards principal and interest, improves their per capita income by 50% to 100%, and 1 lakh entrepreneurs were projected by 2010. And what are the strategy? With the lack of TV or radio medium, promotion through demonstration of HUL products at Haat and Bazaar, star sellers made up for this lack of audiovisual advertising. It was displayed there. But there were challenges also. Differential pricing of rural customers purchasing from SIG, two different channels of the same company competing on price, undermining local retailers, negligence of flooding of counterfeit products into the marketplace. Now, there are three things. Now, this in 2010, they have appointed either this Shakti Amma's husband or the Shakti Amma's brother-in-law, because Shakti Amma has got limitations, cannot move out of the village, cannot move out of the house very much. You know the villages where the emancipations of women has not been so far. So naturally, these men used to go with the Shakti Amma stocks to the 2 kilometers away, 3, 4, 5, 6 villages they used to cover. So that is called Shakti van. And then says that Shakti Vani. Shakti Vani is what I'm coming into detail. There is Shakti Entrepreneur and I Shakti Community Portal. These are the advertisement that we were doing. This rural marketing. Shakti Vani is social communication anchored on brands. Vani means to spread the communication, social communication anchored on brand about health and hygiene. When we talk of Lifebuoy, when we talk of soaps, you have to wash your hands, etc. Health and hygiene. You have to clean your undergarments regularly. You have to clean your regular wearing shirts and pants or dhotis and saris and all. And that is a woman's empowerment. Village women are recruited as Vanis. Vanis means who will the communicator and trained to communicate. They were trained how to communicate. Vani audience, who are the audience of this Vani? Key opinion leaders, means in the village, you see, we'll say Mukhiyas. If he take the decisions, yes, you can take it. Everybody will abide by that. So key opinion leaders are into it. Schools, because in the schools level, the teachers and the students, they have to be told about why they're using soaps, why they will sing healthy foods, why they will get dressed which is clean and washed properly. SHG meetings, self-help groups meetings, and other village gatherings. When there are fair and festivals in the villages, there they used to communicate and make the awareness for the brands. Specially designed communication material. What are the communication material there? There were no TV, there were no print media. So easy to carry kit, that is flip charts, which we even in training today we carry. Leave behind posters. The posters they are put on, which can be remain there, because it is not like town where the shelf life of a poster is 2 minutes. There, if you put a poster, it stays there for a long time. The banners, content developed after in-depth understanding of local context. Your content has to be what you are saying about a brand communication in the town and the cities, and the brand communications in the village is different. If you remember, some of the people who will accept, if there are people who are in 50s and all hearing it, there were two communications. There were communications of Lifebuoy, which talks about football and on football competition, the football cups, and Lifebuoy hai jahan tandurust hua wahan. And you have seen the Bailgari competitions, and this is marked only for the villages. बहुत धूला गर्दा है. बैलगाड़ी competitions के बाद वो जब नहा रहे हैं तो Lifebuoy से नहा रहे हैं. So the competition, the contents are totally different. One is for marketed for everyone, like football is in gaon, football is in town also. But when you talk of Bailgari, you don't see Bailgari often in the town, it is in the villages. So that is marked for villages. So contents were totally different. So marketing strategy was also different. And this is how hand wash demonstrations is going on in school. This is free health camps in Shakti village, where the Lifebuoy posters used to be put up, and they were talking about the health and all. And Pepsodent, like Germy checks, is there. There are soaps, there are Lifebuoy soaps, there are washing powders available. So the doctors is talking about the health, doctors is checking their health, and Shakti Amma was also briefing about the products. Free dentals comes in Shakti villages, and then they talked about Pepsodent, about the awareness. And in 2010, they started iShakti and IT enabled community portals across the state of Andhra. So the aim is to have 3,000 iShakti kiosks on stream by the end of 2007, covering 9,500 villages and 18 people, where by sitting in Calcutta or sitting in Andhra, Vizag, or sitting in Bombay, you can show them about the products, its agriculture, health, education, etc. Rural community portal that creates access to information. Village can register as users as sharp content areas, agriculture, health, veterinary service, education, employment opportunities, which are not very great like town because they don't have so much of cyber cafes. It helps the villagers' aspirations level. And when they were doing it, they were also showing the advertisement of the products, and the product awareness is growing. All the content backed by local language and voiceover. Because if you are making a film in Mumbai and in talking in Hindi, if you are going to a gaon in Rajasthan or in Gujarat or somewhere in Andhra or in Tamil Nadu, the language will differ. So it has to be a voiceover. I still remember when I was in Perfetti, when we launched a product called Stop Not, we have done a market display and we have taken the photograph, and it was done in Telugu language. Then a voiceover in Hindi has to be done to show it to the all India level. On all content areas, users can post queries. 1,000 kiosks in AP partnership with the government. But this is not all. People will say you are talking about of levers. But when in 79 I joined Hindustan Lever, when I was going to the IDC markets and all, I have seen another company, that is Union Carbide, which was going to the rural market doing postering, wall painting, etc. Because it is the product. There were some torchlight, 309 or 109. I failed to remember now. It is the in villages, the torches, the 4-cell torches are used. So for the torches, the battery is required. So where do you campaign? Should you campaign in the town or should you go to the village? So that's why when the company's product is a market which is the market, rural market, where you will sell tractors. Tractors are sold in the town. So where you will do the promotions, where you do the marketing, you have to go to rural and do the rural marketing. Otherwise, how the tractors will get sold? Like batteries, which are required in the villages. I have seen also Colgate Palmolive. They have done this interior coverage, interior vans also. When I was in Balsara as a trade marketing manager, I made Babul successful, and my team made Babul successful in going in the villages, which we call Operation Growth Center markets, in the small talukas, from taluka headquarters to micro level villages, which is 5,000, 4,000 populations. And I still remember in Northeast, we have grown by 35% in a single year, whereas in West Bengal, it goes by 70% because the bubble sale was large. Such was the advent of doing rural marketing. That is the importance of rural marketing. Before finishing, I will add up I will just show you a So I have finished whatever I have to be told. Any questions, or do I have time?
So yeah, we do have time till 4 p.m. So we'll
Any
take
questions?
questions.
Any questions from anybody?
Participants, if you have any questions, please unmute yourselves and ask. You may even write it in the chat box.
I can see one Ritesh Sood is there. Is he from Parvati Vanmel? Any questions?
Yes, sir. This is Saurav here. Right now, I am working with a company where we are in electrical industry, and now we are we started our rural operations a few months back in LED segment,
Okay.
and but
now
yeah.
I will like to ask you how are you doing this? Means this rural penetrations.
Yeah,
What is the
through
method you are following?
super stockist model.
Super stockist model.
Yes, yes.
So have you appointed super stockist in all subdivisions where you work, or about subdivision towns, or is the district headquarters only?
In district headquarters only, and just as a pilot project, we are started this operation from West Bengal.
Okay.
So Panasonic is a brand, is a well-known brand, but in lighting in LED segment, we are not even top 3, top 4. Okay. So there is a natural and when we go in the rural market, then or any market, or you start a different set of customer or new venture, so they are for getting new stockist, sub stockist, or for getting a super stockist, might we get some challenge, like our brand pool is not so high, we are not in advertisement on television. So
your LED is only bulb or tube also?
no, we have entire range in LED, bulb, tube, everything is there.
What is the end MRP like for a unit? Varies from which range to which range?
It starts from rupees 60 to rupees 300. That is the range.
Saurav, where all you have you appointed a super stockist in Bardhaman?
Bardhaman, we are appointing in this month. We started one in Howrah and Hooghly last month, and one at Bakura. So these two started last month. But initially we are getting difficulty in appointing sub-stockist. In Howrah Hooghly, we appointed 4 or 5 stockists last month.
May I ask you a question?
Yeah.
When finding the districts that you will do the super stockist system there, have you gone through a survey, census survey, ki how many villages have got light, when say electricity? This is the first thing you should survey, because without the electricity your light cannot go. So how many villages of there is electricity? What is your aim through this super stockist? How many distributor you will appoint? To what is the populations up to beneath which you won't go? And have you done the survey of those villages? What is the literacy rate? What is the female and male rate, etc.? How will you do the campaigns there? How will people know about your birth and all? Whether you will do certain demonstrations there, whether you will appoint a video on wheels there, all these things has to be researched. Okay.
Yeah. So sir, I'm coming there, sir. I'm coming there. So I am not asked you the entire full question yet. My question is that, sir, since our one very natural brand pool is not there in the market, and we are not in media, and we don't have that sort of communication to the consumer, direct communication to the consumer.
Right.
Okay. So the things which you have said,
Yeah, you are not audible.
we are in this practice. Yeah, sorry. So I'm saying that I benchmarked few companies like Philips, who is doing super stockist operations since last 20 years, like Surya, or 2-3 year back, Havels has started. So 3-4 companies I have done the benchmarking, the where all they are having super stockists and which all town they are covering. Okay, so and little bit I have an idea of this market also. So with the help of my team, we are just floating this thing. So so my question is that, sir, that in rural market where you are not a very well-known brand in that segment, particular segment. So how we can do our marketing things so that consumer pool can be created. So this is my question, sir. So for creating consumer pool, what all activity I should have there in place for a better result?
Take that village panchayat head in your confidence, and you do a meeting over there. The big panchayat shamitis, the head you take into confidence. Maybe you can give him a bulb or a tube as a gift, 60 rupees gift to him, and then ask people for a small meet where you can offer tea at the best or biscuits, and you talk about your product USPs and a product price also, and that is the thing you can do. And after distribution, you select 3-4 outlets where you can give it to them, and then you can paint the this villages about to create awareness. You can put posters, danglers, etc. The same thing that Shakti Amma have done, the kind of thing you can do there also in a small scale.
Okay,
Yes,
sir.
Mr. Gokhale was saying something, I believe.
No, sir. She is one of the esteemed speaker for our next topic.
Okay.
We are just running out short of time. If any participants have any questions, please we can take last question. Else we are moving to the next speaker.
I have finished mine, and if anybody have questions, they can send it to you.
Yeah.
And
If
you
any
can send him
participants have any questions, they can email to GFORD. We'll share with Mr. Sudeep Ray and we'll reply on the email. Thank you very much, Mr. Sudeep.
Thank you, all of you.